Not a lot of people talk about the real nitty-gritty stuff about living in Japan. If you followed my journey, you'll know that recently I bought an Akiya and I've had a lot of problems with that house. So I've made this video to talk about the day-to-day things that I've discovered about living in a Japanese house. First, I want to talk about the hot water system. When I first saw it, I was actually really confused, and I saw there are a couple of other houses in my street that had the same style as mine. I found out it actually ran on kerosene, and it's not gas or electric like what we have back in Australia. So I started buying little containers to bring gasoline home every time I went to the petrol station, and just filling up the petrol tank bit by bit as I went. Then one day I heard this noisy singing truck go past my house, and I discovered that they actually will deliver kerosene to your house. You just flag them down and they'll stop. Super convenient, but something I never knew about Japan. Next thing I discovered was to turn the hot water on in the house, you have to go into the kitchen and press this button. So the hot water isn't permanently on like it is in Australia. You have to turn it on and you can adjust it up and down. The sinks in Japan are massive and I wasn't prepared for that. You can see me putting a bit of a sock on the drain, that's to catch any food. There was no draining rack, so I had to buy this draining rack because there was nowhere to put my dishes after I washed them. So it was a massive sink, but no draining rack. This rack's been awesome though, I really like it. And the tap, if you notice, has this long hose thing on it, and you can buy these at the hardware shop. I replaced the one that was on here. With such a large sink, having a tap with a hose on it is really useful. I just throw the sock in the bin when I'm done and give everything a wipe. But did you notice these bench tops? They're stainless steel. I have never seen anything like it. It feels a bit like a commercial kitchen with these stainless steel bench tops. Do you know how to keep them clean? Please let me know in the comments. So rubbish day here, you can see I'm in my pajamas because rubbish has to go out the morning of, and our rubbish is collected at 8 o'clock, so it's about 7 o'clock now, and I'm sticking the rubbish outside, out my back door. And you just buy one of these special bags that the council puts out, and always have a good check to make sure my neighbours have put theirs out and I've got my day right. Just like the kerosene truck, the rubbish truck also sings to you, so we get some lovely melodies down the street, and it's a nice little alarm clock to let you know you've got to get your rubbish out. There are no wheelie bins here, so they pick up the bags and throw them in the back. When Millie hears the truck, she runs to the door. She loves watching the truck. Crows have been a massive problem lately, so I had to go down to the local Conan shop and buy this yellow bag to put the rubbish in to stop the crows getting it. I had a really bad experience with my rubbish spread all across the road, which I had to go and pick up. It was pretty disgusting. The rubbish calendar comes out every year, and my days are Monday and Thursday, and I have a collection of glass bottles, cans and glass, and you just have to look at the calendar to figure out when things are. I don't put my recycles out, I collect them out the back of my kitchen door. And the reason for this is once I get a whole heap all together, I take them down to my local supermarket because they have a reward system. So if you take your recycles down there, you scan your points card, and those points go directly onto your card, which you can use for groceries. So I'm being a bit tight, but I feel like I'm doing something good for the environment and getting rewarded with points for doing so. You might have noticed I am in a garage. This is my garage. It's very rare for Japan because the reality of living in Japan is most people have their cars parked outside. That's very common. I've walked down local streets and I see no one really has a garage. I can see some carports and I can see people using car parks and putting their cars outside. But a garage seems to be quite rare in the area that I'm living in. So you'll see even really expensive cars just parked outside in the open. I bought this house because it had the possibility of putting a garage in, and it was the handyman that pulled the front wall down and put the garage door in for me. Anyway, so back to the recycles. I'm now headed off to that supermarket I was telling you about, and I'm going to go and show you how the machine works. So we just take our recycles into the machine. So super easy, you just scan the card and then just start feeding the recycles into the machine, and it crushes them up then and there. You get your points on the card, and then you go into the supermarket and you can basically pay with those points if you have enough points. I'm after some body wash because I've got some good friends of mine from Australia coming to visit, so I thought I'd buy a nice body wash for them during their stay. And I'm starving, so I'm grabbing some lunch. I'm not a vegetarian, but I do love some of the veggie options they have here. They're really yummy. So at the register, I just gave her my card, which she scanned to get more points. And then when I go to pay, I just hit pay with points. It's as easy as that. So another thing I noticed when I was driving around is that a lot of houses have their washing machines outside, and my washing machine was also outside, and that's something I'm not used to in Australia, and I really wanted to be able to do my washing inside the house. So the handyman that did the bathroom and the garage door, I asked him if he could look at possibly putting it under the stairs. It caused a lot of discussions. They were very confused about that because they hadn't done anything like it, but it was totally possible. It was just a couple of pipes under the house and bringing the electrical cord up. I also put in a trap door so that I could access those pipes should anything go wrong in the future. Speaking of those trapdoors or manholes, I don't know what you call them, but I also have one in the kitchen, and it's great for accessing under the house to fix things. I also have one which I put into the bathroom when I redid the bathroom, so just sort of future-proofing the house should there be any problems later, especially after the bad issues I had with the pipes in the first place. Something super interesting is the light switches. So the lights are on when it's dark, so it's really easy to find your light switches in the dark. But upstairs I have this tatami room which I'm using as a guest room when people come and visit me from home, but there aren't any switches in the room. So it was really funny, like my first time in here I was like, wait, how do you turn the light on? It's a pull string, so you pull the string and that sets the light off. Then interestingly, the main bedroom, that stumped me because there was no light switch and there was no string. It was just a fluoro. So I was like, how on earth am I going to turn this one on? And hunting around, I found a remote. So this one is actually a remote control. So yeah, you just turn it on and off and you can dim it and do all sorts of things. You might have spotted my wardrobe, my very messy wardrobe. There was no hanging space, something I wasn't prepared for. There was zero hanging space, so I had to buy this hanging rack to put my clothes on. And that cupboard is, I think, normally a storage/futon cupboard. So I put more hanging in there and I put a set of drawers down the bottom, but normally it's just used for futon storage. Another thing that's something I wasn't prepared for was entertaining space. I mean, I'm an Aussie and we like to entertain and we like to have barbecues and have our friends around and hang out. So I'm trying to make this area look nice and somewhere conducive to wanting to be outside. It's still a work in progress, so don't judge me just yet, but I have had a couple of barbecues out there and tried some Wagyu, which is delicious here. And one more thing is the walls. I've been a bit shocked by the plywood walls. So it was really dark and dingy, so I started painting them white. I've only managed to do one little bit of the front entrance. What do you think? Do you think this is looking better than what it was? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Please like and subscribe for more videos. It really encourages me to keep going. Talk to you again soon. Bye.